Whoa, 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 whoa. Bro, I wasn't ready for recording yet. What is you doing? What is you doing? What is you doing? What is you doing?
Look.
What?
We've got to get the information out there as quick as possible for the people to know in the shortest amount of time. We can't dilly-dally around this week. We can't even have a pre-intro intro. We've just got to roll the titles and go straight into it. If it's just you and me, it's just you and me. Let's go.
Okay. Well.
Welcome to Two Titans and a Hunter, a Destiny 2 podcast. Dedicated in bringing you all the latest information, news, and opinions. This is the best show for new and veteran Guardians alike, where we share tips, tricks, and tools to help you succeed and enjoy playing even more. So with all that said, let me hand you over to your hosts, the Triumph Hunting Titan Nitedemon, the pink-panted pansy Peroty, and your Hunter Master Ranger, Mr. No One Respawns in Real Life!
So, welcome to the show this week. At the moment, you only have myself and the Respawn. We are waiting on the Peroty. We've snuck on early, Respawn and I, because Respawn needs to get back home ASAP.
Mm-hmm.
And I had a little bit of an accident with my laptop this week, which involved a glass of Pepsi, and we're just not going to talk about it because I'm very upset at the moment. So, yeah, I've got to go and kind of sort that out. So, you're getting an early show, and it might be the shortest show ever. You might even get a Peroty kind of turn up at the end and go, well, where is everybody? Because I thought we were meeting like here and now, but we're here now because we're now here.
Yeah, and we don't need to talk smack about Peroty while he's not here because we do it to his face, and I think that's arguably more fun. So,
yes. So we got a couple of trailers this week going over the developer playtest for the Warlock, the Hunter, and the Titan, which are included in This Week in Destiny, or the TWAB, as we like to call it, for the 9th of May. So this week, they're going to be talking about the exotic class items, and so we're going to be talking about the exotic class items. We're not going to be talking about the new boss profile for the Pantheon, because we already know about Oryx. He's a bad dude. He's always been a bad dude. We just take him out. That's it. We just don't need to know anymore.
Dude, though. He's so easy.
Well, no, Oryx is a bad dude. Who he was beforehand may not have been a bad dude, just that he was corrupted that way. Okay, so there you go. That's your new boss profile. Red bordered weapons are available now for all the expansions if you've got them, which you should have them, because there's been some amazing stuff added to Destiny this week for free-to-play players. 0 Hour returns next week, so that's pretty cool. So maybe there's 2 or 3 Trevors running around in that maze. We don't know. We know nothing apart from that you can get your Outbreak perfected and craft it and do wondrous things with it. So we'll be talking about that. We might be talking about the PvP maps. They've done a PvP map trailer. Bit late because we're kind of... That should have come like the previous week because, you know, that would have got us hyped a bit more. We have talked about this, Bungie. The expansion open access through till June 3rd. So that's what we're going to talk about. The Gauntlet returns for its 10th anniversary. And there we go.
Mm-hmm.
So, did you all check out the little trailers they put out for the Final Shape development playtest preview of the Prismatic Warlock, Titan, and Hunter?
No.
They look phenomenal. It goes over all them playing as the Prismatic classes. But what people have actually gleaned from watching this gameplay is that they're watching kind of the different cooldowns on the left-hand side. And then I believe it's in the Hunter trailer, we see a boss, which looks to be the Strike. I think several kind of streamers have put it together, that this boss is going to be the boss for the Strike in the game, because it's I just need to get this right, it's the Tormentor of the Ahamkara. So,
wow, well done.
I know. They're now tormenting Ahamkaras. And I believe that was in the Hunter gameplay, but then there's other different things that people have picked up on. And it's quite nice to see some of that action in PvP and PvE. So if you haven't checked them out, go and check them out because they are interesting to see how it's going to work. But what I've heard a lot of people talk about is the exotic class items and how they might not be as amazing as we all kind of thought they were going to be. Yep. But not all of us thought that they were going to be amazing to start off with. I don't know about you. What was your take when you first heard that we were going to have these mix and match class items?
Initially, I thought it was going to be ridiculously broken, and then once I saw that they actually weren't giving you the entire perk, and they're only going to give you like part of the perk of the exotic, I'm like, all right, that's cool. But in the end, they're still going to be awesome because right now our class items don't do jack.
But they are, the thing is with these exotic class items is that you can only wear the exotic class item with prismatic, but nobody is stopping you from using.
Oh, I didn't know that. Oh, wow,
your exotics.
That sucks. That does kind of suck.
They're built around the combinations of your grenades and your super kind of thing for prismatic. So where you can kind of combine all of these different elements from the light and the dark subclasses, the exotic class item will kind of enhance some of those abilities or the supers and whatever.
I get that, but what I was really hoping is I could live my dream. Because my super ultimate mega punch, I'm going to shoot you in the face I'm going to punch you in the face instead of shooting you Bill of Doom, right?
Yeah.
That one is already good, right? Now, if I was going to be able to add some of these Titan melee exotic perks to that and like really lean into it, I was going to be like, yeah,
you might still be able to do that. You might be able to build that into your prismatic subclass and then add the class item on top of that to bolster it even further. So that's the good thing about it. The bad thing is that you will only be able to earn these in week 2 of the final shape, because the exotic class items will be part of the new activity that unlocks after the raid's first world's first at the beginning of week 2, and they don't want to tell us what the activity is or what it's called or what anything about it apart from it is farmable and you will get a guaranteed random roll of each time you complete it. So I think somebody did the math, and I believe it was on DCP. 64 different combinations for each class. So hunters, you've got those 100 spaces in your vault coming up with the final shape. So you've 64 of them.
64 of them going to be used.
So God bless anybody like me that plays 3 characters. You'll only be able to fit like a bit and a bit and a bit. So good luck. So, but the good thing is though, I mean, we will unlock the prismatic subclass before the raid, and you will be able to use your exotics that you currently have to enhance certain areas of your prismatic and still be able to use that in the raid, or you're using it through the kind of the story as we kind of build it up, a bit like we have done with the other subclasses and how we've kind of got aspects and fragments. So that's going to be nice to still use. If you want to use it in the world's first raid, you can still use it. You just won't get the class items until week 2, because maybe the class items break a few things that they want to kind of, or they want to test it out, like they do quite regularly. I mean, and I also wouldn't be surprised if the world's first they do kind of stop a couple of exotics, because sometimes what happens is they introduce a new thing. They introduce a new thing, and an exotic will break the game or make the raiding counters like not even.
Oh my God! Caliban's hand one-shots the boss. We've disabled that for the foreseeable future. Yeah.
Similar to how Prismatic has a selection of abilities among the light and dark subclasses, the exotic class items in the final shape will have the mixture of exotic armor perks available for each class. They've included some fan favorites as well as some perks that align with the prismatic abilities and aspects.
Mm-hmm.
So, let's have a look through these. Hunter Cloak exotic.
Hold on.
Ooh,
the second this list came out,
yeah,
I immediately had a call from Mike and was like, y'all suck. I'm like, what? He goes, didn't you see the list? I'm like, what list? He goes, they came out with a list of the perks you can get on the exotic class items. I'm like, nah, I ain't seen it. He goes, hunters get all the cool stuff, and Titans don't get anything cool from the other classes. I'm like, awesome. I don't want you to have my stuff.
Well, you say that, but the possibility of getting the cool stuff, you still can. So for your hunters, the first column, so these can all roll in the first column. You get the Spirit of the Assassin, finishes and powered melee, final blows grant invisibility. So Titans can go invisible, maybe, in using Prismatic?
See, no, that makes I think that makes way more sense. And that exact perk is what me and Micah had a long form discussion about, is because the exotic that goes to for the hunters, we don't have a melee that'll one shot with the smoke. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, it'll kill them if they're like super low health. That poison will kill them. But the problem is it does almost no damage, even to a red bar. You know?
Yeah.
So being able to kill somebody with our powered melee, aka smoke bomb, doesn't really do us any good. But having a Titan that's got the void, frisbee,
Overshield,
the void super punch, that makes way more sense.
I suppose it does. It also kind of, how are you going to kind of build it into prismatic, because these are prismatic things. So I'm going to continue down the hunter one. First column, Spirit of the Assassin, Spirit of the Innermost Light. Spirit of Innermost Light, using an ability empowers the other two abilities, granting them improved energy regeneration. So
no, that's fun.
That's the Titan one. Spirit of Ophidian, weapons ready very quickly. Spirit of the Dragon, using your class ability reloads all weapons and increases weapon handling speed for a brief time. Spirit of Galanor, hits and final blows with your super returns super energy after it ends. Spirit of Foe Tracer, damaging a powerful combatant or guardian with an ability grants you a temporary damage bonus for weapons matching that ability subclass.
No, doesn't it? I thought it was also supposed to mark the targets. Or is that the part that they're not including?
That's probably the perk that they're not including for the actual Foe Tracer. Spirit of Caliban, powered melee final blows trigger an ignition.
Ooh, that was Spirit of the Liar? Oh, okay.
And Spirit of Renewal, allies inside the dusk field take reduced damage and targets inside the area deal reduced damage. So that's on the first column. And then you can get any of those drop in the first column. And this is for Warlock and Titan as well when we get to those. And then it can be any of the second column, which is why there's kind of 60-fold combinations. So Spirit of the Star Eaters. So while your super energy is full, picking up an orb of power overcharges your super, granting it bonus damage.
And we can use Golden Gun with Prismatic, right?
I think it's one of the supers that you can.
Golden Gun. Celestial Golden Gun with Spirit of the Star Eater is going to be broken.
Spirit of the Syntheseps improves melee damage when you're surrounded. Spirit of Verity, weapon final blows with a damage type that matches your grenade grants a stacking grenade damage bonus.
Yeah.
Spirit of Satrachnes, gain wave of mail when you use your grenade. Spirit of Gerfalcons, your void weapons gain volatile rounds after you emerge from being invisible.
Yeah, okay.
Spirit of the Liar, dealing damage with a powered melee or being hit by a melee attack will allow you to follow up with an extremely powerful melee counterpunch.
Yeah.
Spirit of the Wormhusk, dodging gives a small health and shield bump. And Spirit of the Coyote, gain an additional class ability charge. So that could be quite cool.
Our Hunter's going to be so punchy.
So Titans, you also get Spirit of the Assassin, Spirit of the Innermost Light, Spirit of Ophidian, Spirit of Severance, which is powered melee or finisher final blows unleash a damaging explosion. Spirit of Hoarfrost, your barricade becomes a wall of stasis crystals that slows nearby targets when created. Spirit of the Eternal Warrior, gain a damage bonus for weapons matching your super element when your super ends. Spirit of Abeyant improves Drenger's Lash. Drenger's Lash projectiles track targets more aggressively and travel further. And Spirit of the Bear, move faster while guarding with the Unbreakable Shield. Damage blocked with the Unbreakable Shield is converted to super energy. And then in our second column, Spirit of the Star Eaters. So we've got that as well. Spirit of the Syntheseps, we've got that. Spirit of Verity, we've also got that. And then Spirit of Contact, damaging a target with powered melee, causes all nearby enemies to suffer lightning strikes and become jolted. Spirit of Scars, the final blows with the weapons that have a damage type matching your super element creates a burst of healing energy around you that grants allies restoration. Spirit of the Horn, your barricade unleashes a blast of solar energy that scorches targets. That could be quite nasty. Spirit of the Horn with the Spirit of Hoarfrost. So your barricade becomes a wall of stasis crystals that slows people, and then you get the Spirit of the Horn that then sends out that solar blast of energy that scorches targets. So you've frozen somebody with the huge barricade, and then you scorch them. That might be quite fun.
Oh, no, that is not fun. No, that's awful.
That is fun. You're thinking awful. PvP, but yeah, PvP. Spirit of Alpha Lupi generates healing pulse when barricade is activated. Also, that one might be quite good. And Spirit of Armentarian gain additional grenade charge. So your Warlocks, the first column, you also get Spirit of the Assassin, Spirit of Innermost Light, Spirit of Ophidian, and then you get Spirit of the Stag. Your Rift provides damage reduction to allied guardians standing in a rift. Spirit of the Filament, casting an Empower Rift will grant you Devour. Spirit of Necrotics, damaging combatant with your melee poison sims, defeating a poison enemy spreads the condition. Spirit of Osmiomancy, your grenade recharges quicker on hit. The Seekers spawned from Cold Snap grenades travel further. Spirit of Apotheosis, temporarily gain greatly increased melee and grenade regen after your super ends. And then you also have Spirit of Star Eaters, Spirit of Syntheseps, Spirit of Verities, and then we have Spirit of Vesper, periodically release arc shockwaves. Spirit of Harmony, final blows with weapons that have a damage type that matches a super element grant you super energy. Spirit of Star Eaters, grenade recharge from empowered weapon damage, with empowered weapon final blows granting more energy. Spirit of the Swarm, destroying a tangle spawn threadlings, and Spirit of the Claw, gain an additional melee charge. And they just want to make sure that you're all aware these exotic class item perks will only work when you have the prismatic subclass equipped. So you can still rock it, but just not use it.
I just won't do anything. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you can rock 2 exotic class items or 2 exotic items again.
No, you can't rock it. No, you won't be able to. It's the old thing of you can't use it and things. You'll only be able to use.
So I can't have that on plus like my Liar's Handshake.
No, either or.
What?
Either or. You can only have one. It's an exotic.
Oh, Bungie.
I think people are thinking Destiny 1 here, where we had the exotic class items, which were kind of reputation gains for the faction that you kind of prayed to. And you could then have your exotic item on top of that. But these are separate. These are actually exotics that do exotic things for killing people.
No, I've now lost all interest in this.
No,
my
you
heart is
haven't.
broken. I have been betrayed.
No, you've not been betrayed.
I have. We were able to equip the exotic class item in D1 with an exotic, and that should have happened in D2. It's a missed opportunity. Bungie hates us. My fun is gone. The game is being uninstalled, and I'm done with everything Bungie related. From now on, Helldivers only.
Fair enough. We know that's not going to be true. Oh dear. So some class item perk combinations might end up being better than you expect, and they've got more to share about the exotic armor balances in general in the coming weeks. Because remember, they were going to tune some things, and I do believe they said that they were going to tune Well and Bubble at some point way back when. So I'm just reminding people now, Well and Bubble might be touched coming soon for the final shape.
Didn't the bubble just get nerfed with the damage?
It did get
health debuff, something like that.
I think it did, but because it's still quite prevalent in certain game modes, especially like trials and things,
it's capture the point. Yeah,
it's one of those things that I think they're still going to be looking at. I think they do need to rebalance it for PvP and PvE.
Make it stronger for PvP and non-existent. I'm sorry, stronger
PvE.
for PvE and non-existent for PvP. Yes, I agree. Let's go.
So, are there any combinations that stick out to you at the moment that you'd like to kind of rock as a hunter?
I mean, now I have to reevaluate some things because now I'm all sad panda, right? Because I wanted to do a Celestial with a Star Eater. Right?
You're only sad panda because you don't know. Well, I honestly can't remember either what the prismatic builds that you can put together. No.
What I'm saying is, like, I wanted to do a Celestial with a Star Eater, right? But now you're saying I can't have 2 exotics, so now I have to rethink some things. So I would still like to really lean into like the Liar's Handshake. So Spirit of the Liar, maybe with the Spirit of Caliban, I think might be fun. You know, if I can still make my Arc Punchy build, but instead of Liar's Handshake, I can mix those 2 together. That would be even more potent because then I could still have the electrocution and now explosion. Or, I could just get away from the Spirit of the Liar and do Spirit of Caliban with maybe the Spirit of the Syntheseps. I don't know. As long as I can still jolt everything, that'd be fine. But yeah, I'm just saying, I really wanted to do an even better version of the Hunter Punch build or a better version of the Celestial build. But now I'm learning that you can only have 1 exotic item at a time. Dimwee's like, you're delusional. Yeah, well, Dimwee, we were able to have it in D1. I wanted to have it in D2.
You weren't able to have it in
Sure.
D1.
Yeah, you did.
D1 was an exotic class item that didn't have any kind of bearing on the gameplay.
I don't care. I
Well,
wanted
then you didn't
exotic
have it. You didn't have 2 exotic. You couldn't put 2 exotics on.
You did have 2 exotics on. Now,
No.
the second exotic might not have done anything, but it was absolutely an exotic, sir.
Oh, there you go. We found the wandering Peroty. He has returned. Hi, Peroty.
He is not
He has
talking.
returned. He has returned back to the chair, back to the desk, in his half-awake state. Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
We're all half awake. Well, except for Night Demon. He's
Peroty
trying to-
does have an excuse. He was up late last night recording another podcast without us.
Yeah,
Yes.
I saw that. It is what it is. He's branching out. He's trying to get rid of 2 Titans and a Hunter, so we can fill him with a Warlock.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So who did you record
all
with
the
last night,
master plan.
Peroty? Whose show were you on?
Well, Mr. Todd the Gator himself, he's been doing those roundtable shows
Okay.
and reached out a while back saying, hey, you should come join us and we could roundtable things. So it was me, Todd the Gator, of course, from Guardian Downcast.
Yep.
Mr. Fluffy Fingers MD from Potato Thumbs, and Sweaty Spooks from Blueberry Lounge. And we had a good time, even though I was sitting here being subjected to beautiful views of the northern lights from both Fluffy Fingers and Sweaty Spooks, because they're up in, well,
Canada.
the north and
Yeah.
east of here, basically.
Canada.
And it was, cloudy and rainy and terrible here. Gator, of course, had no northern lights because he is far too southern for the northern lights.
I think we got them over here as well. I didn't take any
even
pictures.
Florida was getting some of the southern lights. But the problem that all y'all seem to forget or don't even process is seeing the Aurora Borealis this south is a horrific thing. Because that means we're getting inundated with so much solar radiation that it's affecting more of our atmosphere. That is not a good thing, man.
Listen, we started the show talking about Fallout, both the TV show and the nukes falling. So, I mean, we were well on brand.
Okay. So it's not just a Destiny show. It's you talk about other subjects then.
It was very Destiny focused.
Okay.
But it was sort of everybody brought their own subject to the table. I mean, it was all Destiny focused, but it was not a strict, we said the names of other games that weren't Destiny, and no one was shouting at us not to. So it was very weird.
Nobody was editing it out.
Well, when that does release, we'll let you guys know, and you can go and check out Peroty and the rest of the gang over on the
And the funny
roundtable.
thing is, while he was recording a podcast with them, I was running Pantheon on their server with some of their other guys. And it did not go well.
Well, Peroty, you have joined us in the middle of the TWAB. We've listed a
Excellent.
couple of things that we're talking about. So we're just going through like the prismatic class items. Respawn's just kind of thrown out a couple that he might want to kind of pair together. We did spot a couple that were quite nice on the Titan, which were let me if I can roll back up. The Spirit of Hoarfrost, so your barricade becomes a wall of stasis crystals that slows nearby targets when created. And pairing that with the Spirit of the Horn on the other side, your barricade unleashes a blast of solar energy that which scorches targets. So that'd be quite nice to freeze them and then burn them. So I'm interested in that.
Here's something that we didn't address because we don't know yet. But in what order does this happen? Do you throw up the ice wall and then the fire comes out? Will the fire break the ice wall, then causing them to shatter?
Yeah, it'll always be the first thing. So casting the barricade will give you the wall, and then the fire will come out afterwards. Because you can use the horn on what is it? It's I can't remember the actual name of the exotic.
Capri's Horn.
But the problem is does the fire break the crystals, ergo making you also have the shatter effect?
No. So
No, because this is Destiny. Whatever you assume will happen will not.
Currently, you can use the Capri's Horn on Strand. So if you can get it just right, you can put up your barricade. It will then send a tangle out, which will then tangle somebody up, and then burn them on the way back as well, which is quite cool, especially in PvP.
That is not cool. That is awful.
It is cool. The one that I quite like the look of for the Warlocks is the Spirit of the Filaments, which is casting your Empowered Rift will grant you Devour, and then pairing that with the Spirit of, where is it? It's on the other side. Spirit of Vesper, risk periodically release arc shockwaves would be quite nice. So you could get that, and then if you, I think you can have arc buddies on the prismatic subclass. So you have an arc buddy, you have that, and the devour, and all the other good things to do with rifts. But is there anything that kind of flew off the page to you, Peroty?
There's a part of me that just wants to go. Where I just lost on the list. I mean, there's part of me that just wants to do like a Spirit of Synthesis, Spirit of Armamentarium, and then throw those together with like Spirit of Ophidians, and just give me more, give me fast, give me speed.
It's from one side, one from the other.
Well,
that's what
right. So Ophidians are on the left, and then either your melees or grenades from the right.
Okay.
Or doing the, the Spirit of the Abiant, improving your Dringer's Lash, the projectiles track more effectively, travel further, just depending, what subclass do I want to play, what do I want to throw at this? Where realistically, it's whatever it gives me, that's what I'm going to really enjoy playing with. But yeah, I mean, I'm just looking at these options, going, there's a lot of fun stuff there, and I appreciate. I mean, Spirit of Inmost Light can't go wrong. Mix that with getting your abilities back much quicker, and then just throwing more grenades endlessly. Yeah. Just doing similar things you've always done, and just keep doing more of it.
And somebody did work out there's 64 possible combinations for each exotic class, so you're not going to be able to kind of squeeze them all in that 100 spaces in your vault if you rock all 3 characters. You're fine if you're one character, with 64 different variations. But then admittedly, you might not, want to collect all 64 variations, but you might just want to.
You won't be able to collect all 64 variations.
Not
in any world are they going to let them drop and not be duplicated and actually go with the punch list. They can tell us. I don't remember what they've told us are going to happen, if anything, but I don't for a million years believe that's what's actually going to happen.
Well, you will be able to farm it.
And like Prismatic, didn't they say that this is only like the first iteration? More stuff will be released over time for both Prismatic and
and they might add more stuff for the class items. But if they do that, we need more vault space. Or
we need more vault space anyway.
Or you rock the one class item and you unlock all the different variations on it. I don't mind having to kind of do various different things to kind of earn currency to keep unlocking things.
You mean make it like craftable?
Yeah, so that you could then go, maybe you only then have to keep a couple that then you kind of just
as it is. Why would they introduce that? I mean, it'd be a nice idea, but it's not even theorized in the game yet.
Well, what I'm saying is to save on vault space going forward.
Yeah.
Maybe have it kind of that you can craft 1 or 2, 3 or 4 different variations of your class item, and then have selectable nodes on there that you can swap over in the build crafting part of it. That then you don't then necessarily have to collect all 64. You can just, once you've unlocked all 64, I think it should be possible to kind of have it as an option to kind of craft and then be selectable. That's my wish. Because I don't want to fill up the vault with armor. I want to fill it up with weapons, more weapons. And slightly going off tangent, I got a message from one of my friends that used to play Destiny 2 a while back, and he sent me a picture of his vault, and it's full of like year 1, year 2 weapons. And he went, "I'm so glad that I stopped playing so that I can use my frigid jackal again." I'm like, oh dear, yeah, that was funny. He just sent me this picture. I was like, okay, that's a cool vault. That is filled up with year 1 and year 2 weapons that you can use again. So that was cool. But yes, there we go. So farmable in week 2 after the raid. Still use your prismatic subclass in the raid with any other exotic that kind of pairs well with it. So go at it, Respawn, because we'll be looking at you, sir, to do this raid stuff. We will.
Is that this coming weekend?
Raiding? No.
No.
I mean, it could be this weekend, next weekend, Tuesday evening.
It's is it the 7th?
About 3 weeks from now.
Okay. Yeah. I have to check my schedule. Because I might be in Missouri. And from what I understand,
was that Missouri?
Yeah. I'm trying to remember if it was Missouri or... Also, they put Hawaii back on my schedule again. Damn it.
Anyway. We haven't got time for squirrel moments. We've got to carry on. Remember, short show.
Yeah. Okay, sure. Anyway, moving on. Yeah.
So, Oryx, the Taken King. He's a hive god. We've discussed him at the top of the show. He's very bad. He wasn't very bad. They've got some intel on him of note. He slew Akka, the worm of secrets, and carved out the dreadnought from its corpse. There you go. That's how much of a bad man he is.
Yeah, but in the raid, he's so easy. Like, when I saw he came out as the 5th, I was, shouldn't he have been the first encounter? Golgoroth seems to be most people's most difficult encounter. You know?
It's easy.
Yeah. Well, yeah, for us, yeah, but for most people, it is the hardest thing, And I think this probably should have been the introductory because of the ones that we have available to do right now. This is probably one of the easiest ones to do, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So why did this come out 5th instead of, I don't know, 3rd?
Why not? Golgoroth kind of teases you, gets you into doing the raid stuff. Then you've got your Caretaker, which is a different mechanic. Then you've got Zorak, which is again another different mechanic. And then you've got HVAX, different mechanic. But it's like, I think it's a good kind of test. And I was able to get in with a group this week. I abandoned Fireteam Finder because Fireteam Finder seems to be kind of cancer at the moment for this. And like I said last week, every show that I've listened to, people are steering clear of Fireteam Finder for things like this. Other things, doing Onslaught is absolutely fine. No communication. I don't mind playing with you. Doing Grandmasters sometimes, if you can find a group that are doing it. But what I found is the Xbox app, just looking for a group on there. The guy was relentless when we first kind of partied up. Has everyone got a mic? And he did a mic check. Has everyone done all the encounters? Right, I need you to do this, this, and this. If you cannot do this, then you're out. And it's like, brilliant. I found the right group. And then somebody left after Caretaker.
No, I was going to say that he kicked you.
Somebody left after Caretaker, and it was like, really? Is that all you needed to get done? Is the first 2? So they obviously kind of started at planets and kind of went the other way, and then did all their kind of box checked. But yeah, Golgoroth was fun. I stood in the pool and just held his gaze to stop him beaming everybody, and that really impressed the leader of the kind of the party. And he was like, "Oh, well, I'm not being shot in the back." And I was the one that swapped gaze with him because I was the only one that was communicating with him. Like, I'll keep him focused. You shoot him in the back, and then we'll swap. And every time I seemed to get the unstable light, so that was quite nice. That I was away from everybody and kind of keeping Golgoroth.
Were you using that invincible sword build?
Yes,
of course he was.
Oh,
nice. It was. Yeah, I stood underneath Golgoroth with my invincible sword build, kept him entertained. His back opened up. The guy shot him in the back. I then swapped with the guy and went and waited until the countdown, shot him in the back, moved back around the front, stood with all these kind of blight balls.
I think that should be a dedicated build. Like, I talk crap about Titans because honestly, y'all deserve it. But in an instance like this, they are the perfect, literal perfect class and build to hold gates.
Yeah, that build was perfect. And I was going to kind of use it on Caretaker, but somebody else wanted to take Caretaker's gaze. So I thought I won't mess with that. If 2 people want to kind of do the Caretaker thing, so I got thrown on ad duty because the other 2 knew what they were doing, kind of reading symbols, even though I kind of got it all kind of down. I knew what I was going to do. And then with planets, I watched all the guides. I knew what I was going to be doing. And I said, I'll do like one of the call out things, had it all down. And then they kind of disbanded after that. It's like, oh, well, we lost one. And then suddenly everybody went, I was like, oh, well, that's it.
So how would that build work on planets then? What would you
I don't think it would work on planets. I think I'd have to swap over to my kind of Pyrogale Gauntlet build with like doing the slamming and going for fire and explosions to kind of get everything out of the way. The one thing is we did manage to kind of find a couple of people that joined at planets, but they weren't very good. But when I did use it, it was really hard to find what was my fire and the fire cyclone that spawned in, because there was just fire everywhere on my kind of triangle.
I was going to ask. Yeah.
That was quite fun
to ask if you
realize.
If you were a plate guy that had to deal with the cyclones or the ground guy that had to deal with the tormentors.
No, cyclone. And it came in my head at that time. I was like, oh, this is what Respawn said. I don't know where this has come from. I can't get out of it. I'm dead.
Yeah. Right? It's just like there all of a sudden. And then like the second it takes your health, you're like, oh crap, there's a tornado. You're already dead.
And I'm moving in the wrong direction. I'm going with it rather than against it.
Those cyclones are awful. I mean, you can kind of leave the tormentors alone, but those cyclones are awful. I hate that.
And I got a couple of the adept weapons to drop. I got the shotgun, the Acacia's Dejection, I believe it's called.
Yeah, it's not great. It's a slug, and it's. I mean, if you can use it for like a shotgun swap build, that's good for Pantheon. Some of those Pantheons, but other than that, you're probably never going to use it.
Well, they threw two versions of it at me, and I was like, "Ooh, I've got an adept. I can do."
You know, off the top of your head, which ones you got?
I'm just looking up on Destiny Eye Manager. You have to bear with me because everything's slow at the moment, not having the other laptop. Play the elevator music. Oh, sorry. No, it's the Nessa's obligation. It's not obligation. It's
Nessa's obligation.
No, it's not obligation because there's no G in it. It's oblation. Nessa's oblation. Yeah, that one. Shotgun. Yeah, I got 2 adept versions of it, and I got one with destabilizing rounds and demolitionist.
Oh,
and then I've got one with harmony and reconstruction. With
that one's not bad. That's actually not bad at all. Okay. Yeah. You can totally do that one.
I totally could. But then I also got an Insidious to drop. I also got a Forbearance to drop. And I got a Midas Reckoning to drop, which is the fusion rifle. So yeah, I got a ton of drops in raids that they shouldn't have dropped in, but they were there and I got them and I was happy that I got something. And that was my experience this week. Peroty, did you manage to kind of grab a group or did you not manage to get into a Pantheon this week?
I barely managed to get into the game this week. I think I've played an hour and a half or 2 hours of Onslaught this week, just trying to get some of those weapon bounties done.
Yeah.
I actually I grabbed a sniper rifle. I put that on for a little while, played with some Onslaught, went to the Altar of Sorrow. I think I'm about a quarter of the way through the sniper rifle kills.
Oh,
because I've got Succession, Luna's, and then Luna's Howl still like brand new. Haven't barely touched that at all, but finished the second pulse rifle for the blast furnace. So I think it's just the Luna's Howl and the Succession that I have left to do. I think all the rest of the bounties are done, or maybe I need like 2 more SMG kills. There's one I'm really close to. It might be the other SMG.
We both
really
know you're never going to use Super Black Parity.
Yeah, but I want the option to have it.
Yeah.
Because if see, basically, I want to acquire things. So if I'm in a group and they're like, we're all going to look like Super Black Goth Emo Hunters, I also want to at least have the option to put it on as well.
A hunter?
No, of looking the same way. I mean, I could be a hunter, but then it's all gonna be downhill from there because the hunter. I mean, his bones are all creaky. He's been sitting in the ship for years. Like someone's gonna mention Cade to him, and he's gonna go, "I'm not sure who that is. I'm not even sure we've ever met."
Mm-hmm.
Talking about the Onslaught and the Brave Weapons, have you guys noticed that the focusing doesn't seem to be working? I think I've still got the focusing on for the Elsie's rifle. I am getting everything else dropping.
But
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not turning in like certain weapon bounties, even if they have been completed, and I'm still getting those weapons to drop. Like, I don't think I turned in the mountaintop one. I've got hundreds of mountaintops. I don't think I haven't turned in the blast furnace one. I've still got like 3 or 4 blast furnaces to drop, and I'm like, I haven't even turned you in. What are you doing? I'm now not getting sniper rifles, which is quite good because I don't want any more of those sniper rifles. Thank you.
Right.
But the focusing doesn't seem to be working.
It seems to be working for just the Elsie's rifle because I focused that early on because
it's not for me.
And I wanted to play with it, and now I have an entire row of Elsie's rifles plus sitting in my vault. But yeah, but I've been trying to focus different things, and it doesn't seem it seems to say maybe we'll give you 2 of those and then 1 of everything else. But yeah, it doesn't seem to be focusing on anything. I'm almost tempted to put it back on the Elsie's rifle just to see if it'll focus back to that. But yeah, no, it doesn't seem to. It doesn't seem to be agreeing with whatever you're focusing, or they've broken the focusing along with level 20 in Midtown entirely.
Well, it's like I said to you last week. There's no point in kind of playing the game if you're not getting the shinies to drop, and you're not being able to focus what you want. There's no difference with playing now to then later on in the final shape, when you've done everything, you can go back to Onslaught and go, I might want to get a roll of this, and
Hey,
I
Joey,
can just
breakfast, dude.
roll the dice over there. So
Now, did you get a auto-loading not recombination.
what weapon are we
Rewind
talking
rounds?
about?
Recombination, yeah. For the mountaintop.
Let me tell you, I have got, oh my word, there's quite a few mountaintops. What am I looking for? Is it overflow?
Auto-loading reconstruction. I'm sorry,
Auto-loading.
recombination.
Yes.
Nice. Good job, Peroty.
Have I used it yet? No. It's in the vault with everything else, but I do have
that
one.
That's that one. No, I haven't got
The
that
reason
one.
I'm asking is, like, when you have the auto-loading, right, then you get your kills with your sweet business or whatever you got going on, right? No, that's the same call to guard. But you're getting kills with your secondary weapon, and when you got a yellow ball, you pull that bad boy out. You got multiple stacks of recombination. Even the knights in Golgoroth last night with this week's version, when we're under light, I was popping him with a mountaintop, taking two-thirds of his health, one shot. I was like, golly!
I've got an ambitious assassin recombination. Is that any good?
Some
No?
people say that's the god roll because you can get the 2 shots, but after the first shot, you've blown your load. So I can blow the load, swap to my other weapon, start charging it back up again, and when I pull it out next time, it's already got that round in it. I don't have to then reload it.
Okay, I will delete all other 20 versions of that weapon. Thank you for clearing that up.
I too will keep those 2 and delete the rest of them and call it done. Bish, bash, bosh.
Bish, bash, and bosh. And I did get my second shiny this week.
Ooh.
It's another
also an Elsa's rifle?
It's another Hungura.
Oh.
I've now got 2 shiny Hunguras and nothing else.
This is my story with Elsie's rifles. I think I have 2 or maybe even 3 of them. I need to go through the pile I have.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't seem to be any way to search for those in DIM. There doesn't seem to be any identifier I can use. And I'm sitting here going, that's a lot of them, and they all look the same. And some of them have the shader on them, some of them don't. I'm going, I need to figure out which ones to actually keep of you and which ones I need to get rid of.
And then adding to the problem in the TWAB this week, well, for us hoarders, is that all the deep sight weapons you can get. So if you've missed out on any of the deep sight weapons over the past couple of seasons and you have access to the past couple of seasons, you can go and play each day, each kind of expansion or each kind of season and get a red border, guaranteed red border to drop. So these are from Season of Defiance, so that's the Battlegrounds and Mission Avalon. Season of the Deep, which is Deep Dives and Salvage. Season of the Witch, which is Summoning Pools and Savathun Spire. And Season of the Wish, which is Riven's Lair and the Coil. And I'm sure they listed more than that. I think it's like the exotic missions as well for those. And no Mission Avalon is the exotic mission from Season of Defiance. But I think also the exotic mission from Season of the Witch or Wish also will drop a red bordered version as well. So that's pretty cool. So if you're missing any red borders, and it's guaranteed to be a red border that you don't currently own as well, so it'll know, hopefully, cross fingers, that you've got those checked off. Are you excited about this, Peroty, or are you going to be, you're not really caring?
I kind of forgot it was happening, and I'm honestly not sure there's things I'm still looking for. I'd have to go back and look.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure at this point I've gone and crafted everything I wanted to craft. But I'm sure I'm missing something. But also, at this point, if I don't have it, do I really care?
Well, I think the thing is to make sure that you've got all the red borders. So make sure you've got all of them, and the crafting option is there for you, because you never know when one of these weapons might come up into kind of prominence, and somebody says, if you've got access to this, go and craft it with these perks, and it's phenomenal for X, Y, and Z. So that's always my kind of thing in the back of my head, is make sure that I've got all of these unlocked. So I've got the ability, if I want to, go to the crafting table and do things like that. So I am looking at what I'm kind of missing from doing the various different activities. The only problem is, like I found this week with the Defiant Battlegrounds, I haven't maxed out the Battlegrounds pass or the war table. I think I'm only at level 5 or 6. but I've got all the weapons crafted. I've got all the red borders. So there's no incentive to do the red borders. There's only incentive to finish out kind of that, to go and get a golf ball and max it out to level 16 or 17. And I think the same with the deep dives as well. I think I'm up to level 14. But again, I want to kind of, and I've got all the red borders there, but I just want to kind of finish out some of those things. So some of them aren't matching up with what I've kind of got to do, but if I've got time, I will try and make sure I get those done.
You've got at least 3 weeks to panic between now and final shape to see if you have time to get those done.
Well, yeah, there's a holiday coming up in the UK in between. I think the week before the final shape drops, so that'll be a non-playing week for me. It'll be like, let's go out and do stuff. So yeah,
you send the family on holiday and then you grind Destiny for a week. Sounds perfect.
Yeah. But with that, it is also a great time to jump into Destiny 2. So what they have done over at Bungie is, during the 28 days that we're waiting, well, initially we were waiting for the final shape to release, they have given us, or given everybody, access to Destiny 2 Shadowkeep, Beyond Light, the Witch Queen, Year 6's Seasons, which is Defiance, Deep, Witch, and Wish. So you can go and get all of those red borders, even if you haven't paid for anything. So PlayStation Plus members can also get Lightfall as well up until the June 3rd. So no matter what expansion you play, all the rewards you earn during this period are yours to keep forever, no matter if they're exotic, raid weapons, or high-stat legendary armor. And that's not it. When the final shape launches on June 4th, the campaigns for Shadowkeep and Beyond Light will also, along with Stasis subclass, will remain available to all players at no additional cost. But there is a caveat to that. So the Shadowkeep pack and the Beyond Light pack are coming after that. So if you want to kind of get some of the things that you don't kind of get now for free and you want to purchase them, the Shadowkeep pack will grant you access to 13 exotic weapons, 3 exotic armor pieces, the Scarlet Keep Nightfall, the Pit of Heresy dungeon, and the Gun of Salvation raid. The Beyond Light pack will give you access to 12 exotic weapons, 6 exotic armor pieces, the Glassway Improving Grounds Nightfalls, and the Deepstone Crypt raid. And then once the final shape is live, they'll also be launching a new pack called Destiny 2 Legacy Collection, and that will give you Lightfall, Witch Queen, the 30th Anniversary Pack, Beyond Light, Shadowkeep, and Forsaken all in one go. But they'll probably tell us more about that later on. So at the moment, you've got 28 days to kind of grind out as much as you can if you are a free-to-play player, get as much out of these things that you can. So you could potentially get all 13 exotics from the Shadowkeep and 12 from the Beyond Light, and unlock Stasis, and do stuff in the Deepstone Crypt and Garden of Salvation that you don't then necessarily have to purchase these packs. So they've given you the chance to do this, and especially if you're a PlayStation player as well, with Lightfall being free on there until June 3rd. That's pretty cool. So red borders and expansion stuff is free, sort of. And I've got a video from Cheese Forever that we'll put in the show notes that shows you, if you're a free-to-play player and now you have access to all of this content, you can go back into the API, and I believe he said it was something like, what was it, like 400 items that you can get for free, because you can go back on the old season pass items, because it literally, you are getting all of this for free. You're going to be able to get 400 exotics plus materials and cosmetics now. So it goes back over, you can use this API feature on, I think it's an extension you can get on a web browser, to go back to the Season of Defiance and the season of whatever the one after the Defiance was, Deep, and access those kind of stuff that was on those tracks, on the paid track and on the free track, and just get all of that. And you can also have access to the Witch and Wish as well, because what this has kind of done for free-to-play players is unlock the whole of the season pass. So, you know, we've had access to it, and now free-to-play players can also get the stuff that we've paid for this last season as well. So pretty cool. You're not unhappy about this? I'm quite happy that they're giving access to all these things to free-to-play players and new lights and things. I think it helps people get into the game, which is quite nice if they want to kind of dedicate and put some time into it.
Yeah, I mean, it's doing what they keep saying they want to do. We want to make this easier to play with your friends. We want the onboarding and ramping on to Destiny to be something you can do versus looking down the barrel of a 10-year-old game with all of the content and story and the dizzying array of things to buy and just say, here's a month. your first taste is free. You might be here in a decade still playing this game. Now that you've gotten that taste and gotten it into your veins. But yeah, I mean, I think it's great to go, it's a month. So, I mean, it's not like it's forever. I'm sure people will be salty about it just like everything else in the world. But it's great to say, you really want to try this out. You want to come and, hey, let's go speed run some things and go get you into this game, see if you enjoy it, give you enough stuff to play with and enough of a vault to be able to have fun and try out the characters and see what you want to do. I think it's great. And yeah, I hadn't even thought about the old season passes going, oh, you need exotic weapons? Just pull it from these passes. Now you've got them. Now you can play with them. Less things you have to go grind out. And, just go play the game, kick the tires like you've been doing this all this time. Or if you've got that old vault of, formerly sunset weapons, hey, guess what? Now you're good. You have a starter pack. You can go play with that favorite weapon you had X number of years ago.
Yeah, I think each kind of season pass, whether it be, I think, paid and free, would give you something like 5 Ascendant Shards, like the golf balls, and it would give you like a plethora of like the Ascendant Shards and enhancement cores, and you also get the Deep Sight Resonance as well. So for the seasons that we've had access to the Deep Sight Resonance, you should get 5 per season pack. So if you've got some of these raid weapons to drop that aren't red borders, or some of the weapons to drop that you really like the look of, and you've only maybe kind of got 1 or 2, and you can get these deep sight resonance off of the old passes, and you can then be able to take them to the Enclave and be able to craft these weapons from using all those materials that you kind of get. So check out the Cheese Forever video that I will link in the show notes.
Perfect.
Yeah. 0 hour is nearly upon us, Peroty. I'm quite excited about this one. I like this mission. It was very hard for me, but I liked it. So, 0 hour, which gives you access to the Outbreak Perfected and its catalyst, will be dropping on May 14th. So this reset coming up on Tuesday. There will be the normal version, which is 40 minutes. And then the Legend version is 20 minutes, like we had with the Whisper mission. I'm not sure if they're kind of removing the Whisper mission from the Into the Light node, or if they're going to have one on one side and one on the other. I'm hoping that they're still going to be able to have both of them there, and then when we get to the final shape, they kind of put them somewhere else that you can kind of access. But yeah.
I mean, it'd be nice if they told us, but yeah, presumably we're going to have both of these up, and they're not going to pull Whisper and go, sorry, should have gotten it done. Now it's out of the game.
Yeah, I think that's probably going to be the thing. So, and don't forget, Trevor is near too. There's a robot in the maze. Be careful. That's all we're going to say.
And yeah, you can share your my friend Trevor with a hashtag on social media, and they want to see your creations, and they're gonna do Art of the Week and Movie of the Week emblems for the best ones or the most terrifying ones.
When we initially had Trevor, we had no way of getting up over the top of Trevor. Maybe somebody could like feel themselves getting up over the top of Trevor and sitting on top of him going around the maze. I don't know if the ceiling would be there.
Hold on. Are you
Trevor
trying to
like
disrespect Trevor?
No, I'm just saying we didn't have Strand, and we didn't have kind of ways of stranding up, to a tangle.
I know what you're saying, but it ultimately sounds like you said you want someone to stand atop Trevor. And Trevor
humble him.
Is omnipotent, okay? Trevor is omnipresent, and he's malicious. The combination of those 3 things means Trevor is going to get you. It doesn't matter if you have Strand or Stace. You cannot freeze him. You cannot suspend him. You cannot defy him. If Trevor wants you, Trevor's going to get you.
Yeah, don't care. I'm going to be trying to jump on top of Trevor and get that Movie of the Week emblem.
Yeah.
But Bungie have launched the launch trailer for the PvP map pack. Did you guys play any of the new PvP maps? Because I have. I've played 2 of them over and over and over and over and over again. Can't get the 3rd one. Don't know what's happening because other people have been playing it and saying they really like it. But I've only ever had the one on the pyramid ship, and I've had the one on Europa, the arcadey one. So I haven't had Eventide Labs. I've had Sirius Plaza and I've had Dissonance, but I haven't had Eventide Labs at all. And I've played it I'm maybe about 10, 15 games, and it's just been those 2. And the quest for Shax says no, but there's a Shax quest that gives me comp weapons once completed, but it says I need to play 2 games on each map.
Yeah, I saw
haven't
that.
got a third map, so I can't get anything. And we did actually get feedback on the YouTube channel on the guide that we put out for the new maps coming in.
Finally,
And
a YouTube partner. Thank y'all very much. Appreciate it.
Was one of the last couple things like the person asking if the maps rotate, or is it random or on a timer, or the person having not a great scenario with it, just saying no matchmaking, just literal sweat hogs who haven't showered in months playing against people who are just trying to get weeklies done?
oh yeah, Oplix. So the game mode is completely brain dead. No matchmaking, so it's just literally sweat hogs who haven't showered in months playing against people trying to get the weeklies done. Which is kind of basically my experience with it as well. I did kind of feed that back to them that we were just getting decimated, and I was in there with old man Dan who plays PvP. He's a really good PvP player, but we got absolutely decimated, and it was like, and it wasn't just one game; it was game after game after game, to the point we went, let's just come out of this now. And I went back in later on, and it wasn't as bad, but it was still quite bad because it seemed to be like Trials-esque with complete sweatlords in there, just like dominating. And I know it's one of those things that kind of people are going to get in and they want to kind of practice and they want to kind of do things, but it was just a nightmare at this point in time. I think maybe. I haven't jumped into 6s, but I think maybe they should have integrated these more into the 6s and had a 6v6 kind of playlist into the whatever the control is for that week, just for the opening week of them, so people can get a feel in the regular kind of PvP kind of arena, and then kind of just ultimately be in like their own new territories play map, have that as well, but just be there at the same time for the first week. But it is what it is. And the first week of Trials, because I think they've cancelled Trials this weekend, haven't they? Because it says they put a tweet out, didn't they?
They sure have.
Saying that they were going to cancel Trials this weekend so that people can play with the new maps. And then next weekend, that they are going to be putting the Eventide Labs as the first map that goes into Trials. And then after that, another one, and then after that, another one. So the final 3 weeks of the season, we're going to be getting these new maps in Trials. So yeah,
Yep,
have you played
in there? I haven't touched any PvP or really anything else in the last couple of weeks.
Huh. Okay,
I would like to go play these at some point, but yeah, I'm also sort of waiting. Maybe put them somewhere a little less sweaty because I'm not here to get my Trials practice on.
Yeah. And I guess Respawn hasn't played any PvP.
Yeah, but it's really nice just to have new maps. I mean, just talking the last night to Fluffy Fingers and Sweaty, it's like, like they'd forgotten. I think it was Fluffy who said, it's like, I forgot what it feels like to be in a new map in Destiny 2, to be in there with other people and not have every lane and every sight line memorized, and just not have the map memorized from playing it, hundreds or thousands of times. Mm-hmm. So just having that experience of, oh, there's actually new places to play. Like this familiar feeling with other games who put out maps more than once a decade. It's like, ooh, I really enjoyed this. So it's like, I definitely, things I want to get into, things I want to go play with, but just haven't made it there yet.
I think we're lagging or something because it's quiet for like a long time, and I go to jump in and you already talk.
Yeah, you keep kind of.
You're very laggy.
Yeah.
Love it. But the only feedback I really heard about it is that one of these maps is a shotgun hellscape. And I'm just like, that sounds terrifying. So if I didn't want to go in before, I don't want to go in now.
Well, the question I put in the chat to you guys is, what's happening with the PvP maps now? There's nothing, we haven't had anything after this. Nobody's saying, we are going to continue to develop PvP maps, and for the next, year, 2 years, whatever, we're going to be kind of getting you new maps or reintroduce some of the ones that we took out of there. Are we going to be waiting another 4 years before we kind of get anything in the PvP kind of scape? I'd like to see some of the old ones come back. And I was thinking about this, like, what maps have kind of been taken out that we haven't seen back? So we've got Solitude, which was the War Mine facility on Mars, which had the ice cave on one side, and you went through the like Rasputin Bunker, and then out on the other side was a little bit more sunny. We had Retribution, which was kind of the spaceship that you kind of jumped around the outside, and it had that donut in the middle that you could kind of run around on the inner ring as well.
Oh, that one. Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah.
We
Citadel.
call
That was
the
a low
Arcane
grav too,
Hellscape.
wasn't it? Or am I thinking of something else?
Sorry?
Wasn't that map also low gravity?
No, that
No,
was the one
no.
from Destiny 1.
Yeah, different map. That one was the auto rifle in Arctitan Hellscape, because you could just run around and just control those nice narrow corridors. And it was lovely.
Yeah. And you try to use a blade barrage, and it would hit all the walls and the ceiling and the floor, and the guy that you were aiming at is just like, ha! And then he shotguns you. So, yeah. Awesome.
Close quarters only.
Yeah. Then we had, what was it, Emperor's Respite. That's been taken out. That was quite good. That was on Leviathan. Equinox was taken out and put back. Equinox hasn't been brought back. So Equinox was another one that was set in the unknown space, very similar to Eternity, but that hasn't been brought back, Equinox. And then we've got Firebase Echo, which was a very short map, and it had kind of that part in the middle which had the kind of laser screen so you could jump up and through, and it had a very long corridor, and it was a very narrow kind of like PvP map. Gambler's Ruin, also that was on the Tangled Shore, that hasn't come back. Legion's Gulch, which had the kind of the man cannons, and then Vostok's already back. So yeah, Legion's Gulch was the last one that kind of hasn't kind of come back. So I'd like to see maybe a mix of, maybe we bring back one of those and a new one, or two of those, a new one, or just bring back maybe one of those every 2 months. That would kind of space it out to then maybe build up to maybe getting some new maps in the game, or have a look at the Destiny 1 maps and maybe bring some of those into the Destiny 2 sandbox, because those maps were kind of made for 3v3 encounters. And some of those were quite nice that I very good remember. There was a good one on Mars, which kind of ended up being a good one for trials. And yeah, so, but yeah, you guys, what do you reckon?
It would just nice to
No comment?
Yeah, it would. I mean, as the representing the only demographic of Destiny more neglected than the PvPers, it would just be nice to know if there is a future. What the future might be. Is this like a one and done? Oh, hey, we kind of need to have you all keep playing this game until we can release other things that make money as a company? Is this kind of the end of PvP and we're going to now take another 2 to 5 years off and just sort of ignore it? Or is this the beginning of an ongoing enhancement to it? And it really feels, if you're going to launch Marathon and direct your efforts there, that's where you're going to point PvP to and go, no, and we have a PvP game for you. Go over here and play this. It'd just be nice to know, because it really feels like, hey, we're going to do this. We've delivered on these promises and made you 0 new promises. Now, they could be waiting until Final Shape comes out and then giving us, the roadmap, the year after that. Like, we do have, the episodes laid out for us, and there's something there. It would just be really nice to know that there's more beyond that.
Yeah,
and it's not. We're not going to be having this, same conversation in a year, going, "Well, Final Shape came out, we had our episodes, and now we're going to get 3 new episodes, I guess, and then we're going to have this, and on the same maps we've been playing forever."
Yeah. I'd like to see a roadmap of what's actually coming, and even if there's no kind of dates to it, just a kind of rough roadmap of this is what we're kind of be doing for the PvP area of the game. We're going to be delivering on the PvE aspect no matter what, but what's going to be available in the PvP sphere coming like down the pipe?
I just want to make sure that there's a little blue icon and a little red icon, since we've given up on the little green icon. Just make sure there's some red in there as well. It's not all Vanguard playlist all the way down.
Yeah. So Nitedemon, if you go on your desktop on your computer, you right click the desktop, and then you say create new document, okay? And then you open that document. That right there is the PvP roadmap.
Okay.
Yeah. So
basically what we have at this point.
Yeah.
we aspire maybe to put things in there, but we'll see.
Yeah, with the new maps, True Vanguard has put out 2 videos this week going over the best spots and sightlines and positions on Dissonance and Sirius Plaza. And I'm guessing that he's going to do one for the Eventide Labs, which if he does release before the show, I will make sure that that's also in the show notes.
Good man.
Once he gets to play it, who he also has not been there yet, so he needs to play it before he can tell you about it.
And it's the Gauntlet's return for its 10th anniversary. So this is Team Bungie were completing the Gauntlet tournament, which is the tabletop games industry thing that they do. And if you make donations, you can get emblems and program art. And then we also have the Asian America and Native Hawaiian Pacific Island heritage at Bungie going on as well. And during the month of May, for each purchase of the stand with the Asian pin, you will get an emblem as well. So you can have the stand with Asians pin and get a lovely flower emblem, which looks pretty cool.
And we will be sending Respawn to Hawaii to aid in the support as part of the support efforts.
Yeah.
No, sir. But so something somewhere we can start.
You're glitching all over the place.
Of course I am. Okay.
Sorry.
If you want to be angry, you have to have good audio. Otherwise, you're just angry and no one can tell why.
Story of my life.
Peroty, it's time for you to shine, my friend. Give us your player support report.
Shining.
We love casting wells. Solar Warlock Money Gang. We love casting wells. We really do love casting wells. That's all I've been doing in the last 2 weeks. Going to Onslaught and saying, listen, I have wells, you have wells, we have wells.
All's well that ends well.
Absolutely. You can make the rounds triumph. While all the other information directly related to the Brave weapon quest is now available, the making the rounds triumph is not able to be completed yet. Players will be directed to speak to Shax during the last week of Into the Light.
Oh, so if you're not around for the last week.
So you've done the things, but we've time gated the thing, so you can't actually finish it until we give you permission to. So yeah, you'll have to make some time to go speak to Shaq for 30 seconds when he deems it necessary to speak to you.
Yeah.
We told
Shaq's
you last
a busy
week.
Man.
Yeah, I mean he's literally in 2 or 3 places at once. He gets around a lot. We haven't even sent him into the Traveler or anything. He's just standing there, handing out weapons, screaming at you to throw grenades. Also screaming at you that the rich archery emote, due to an issue, it's, they've still changed the animation because it would just lose your entire player character. They're reminding us again, it will be fixed in a future update and return to its normal animation. So, still broken. Yeah. They'll fix it in the future.
But the problem is there's other emotes that you can do the same thing with. You know?
Respawn?
Oh.
You're glitching out again. Nobody can hear you.
There's a player privacy and safety update. So as they mentioned in the March 14th TWAB, they're continuing their efforts to ensure player privacy and safety online in D2. Our goal is to provide age-appropriate experiences to all players and give the adults responsible for the younger players a way to tailor those experiences. So if you haven't already, you'll be prompted to enter your birth date, do that, and it will tell you if you're an adult or not, and then the settings apply to you will apply or not. Just like there and now, I won't say now parental controls. I assume there have always been parental controls, but now the game will know who's a parental and who's not, and adults can adjust those controls. I'm not being funny, but it does make me laugh when people do things like this. I mean, it reminds me when I was younger and trying to get into like a 15 movie. You would memorize
that's what you're trying to get into.
No, but I'd be old enough, but you'd take people that were maybe like a couple of years younger and they would memorize their national insurance number, because back then we didn't have kind of photo IDs. So the only kind of thing is that when you were 16, you were given a national insurance number so you could work. So they would, or when you were 15, so they would memorize that to say, oh, this is my thing, but it wouldn't be their actual, it would be somebody else's card kind of thing. And they'd show them the card and pretend to be them. It's just like that. Kids will find a way of like, oh, if I say 100%. Like I was born in 2006, that would make me an 18-year-old at this point. It's like, yeah, these things are just, they're there to kind of protect the company, but it does make me laugh.
Yeah, it's like, oh no, you telling me 16-year-old kids can't check a box? Oh no.
Yeah.
Life finds a
So
way.
ridiculous.
But there's a policy, and they're trying. They're doing their best. So just like everyone else, you at least have to have the settings in place, even if we all know it may or may not get you anywhere.
Look, we're telling you as adults, do the right thing. Tell them your right age, because you don't get any extra privileges. There's no extra benefit to lying.
Yeah, I mean, realistically, you're just not going to have the text or the voice chat, which is a benefit, not a bad thing.
Yeah,
nobody needs that. Nobody wants that nonsense.
I'm pretty sure Peroty has mentioned once or twice some of these delightful messages he enjoys getting from PvP.
No.
I think.
No.
Yeah.
Auto turning on voice chat. What could possibly go wrong? Yeah. Speaking of things going wrong, players are not receiving rewards from one of the secret chests in the Shattered Throne dungeon. Just the one. That particular chest has run out of rewards. And the Spanish version of the Revision Zero's exotic perk description is displaying incorrectly. So, yeah, that's it. Everything else is good though, guys. There is nothing else to worry about.
Good, because I was worried that I wasn't worrying enough. Midtown
is working great. There's no issues at all.
Good, because I like Midtown. Midtown's my favourite one. I hate playing on the others.
Yep. So you can go there and enjoy it, and it's perfectly fine.
Yeah,
There's no issues with it. There is a very good boy who has ramen on his head, and they say don't blame the warlock jump, but I'm going to blame the warlock jump because I've been personally victimized, as have we all, by the warlock jump.
Yes. And sometimes the hunter jump, when you don't realize that you're not on the Titan anymore, and you've pushed the button to kind of float, and you jump, and then you go, oh no, I haven't put that onto double jump or triple jump.
Or if you've played Hunter enough and you've run across the whole, Bungie stole one of my jumps scenario. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, after all this time, they still haven't addressed that. Just it's so random. There's nothing that causes it or anything like that. But you'll be jumping through the air, and you're waiting for that third jump, and it just ain't there. You didn't use it. You didn't fall off the ledge and then jump thinking you had 3. Nope. You were supposed to have 3, and Bungie says no.
Yeah. And that's the end of the TWAB. And Bungie are doubling down on their just saying no to nobody's allowed to have any bounties stored up. Because in the final shape, they're introducing the Ritual Pathfinder, a new reward path that will replace the Vanguard, Crucible, and Gambit bounties and their weekly vendor challenge. So while the Pathfinder replaces the bounties at these vendors, other bounties will remain unchanged to other vendors. So they'll have more to show on the Pathfinder in the next couple of weeks. And they wanted to give everybody a heads up so that when you're preparing for the final shape, you can prioritize how you spend your time. So basically, if you've been hoarding bounties up until now, or you've made the plans to prep to do it all, throw it out the window, because you might as well just turn them in, because they're going to abandon those on June 4th when the final shape releases. And when they say abandon, I think they could just kind of deprecate those in your inventory, so you won't be able to turn them in. So even if you're thinking of holding on to them because you've done them, I think they always say turn them in because they will deprecate them. Sometimes they do, and sometimes they don't, but maybe err on the side of caution this time. Just saying.
Yeah.
Just turn them all in. It's the final shape. You don't need to bring luggage with you. Just go into the final shape.
No, but we were preparing. We were getting XP for our artifact. We were getting XP on our reward track. We wanted to get a head start. You're taking it away, Bungie.
Mm-hmm.
You're not taking it away.
They're
you're
like,
going from a causal reality to a paracausal reality. Your stuff can't go with you, Nitedemon.
Also, a question that has been raised in the community is, with the bounties going away from those vendors like Crucible, Gambit, and Vanguard, that is one of the main ways that people kind of bright dust farm, because you can pick up those repeatable bounties and just do them over and over again, as well as doing the daily ones that you can kind of pick up to get piles of bright dust. Bungie kind of need to come out next week or the week after and explain that the bright dust is going to be staying the same kind of area for people to kind of farm, because with the bounties going away.
Bright dust, you can buy bright dust with silver.
So Bungie need to kind of come out and tell us that what they're going to do to kind of replace the bounty bright dust farming part of the bounties. Because it's fine for you to kind of take the bounties away like you did at some point in Destiny 1. Because remember, we had kind of ones that we kind of did like intrinsically. They were part of the weekly kind of selection that were kind of, we had bounties in Destiny 1. We then had this intrinsic one that you kind of just played various different game modes and they kind of gave you bounty kind of rewards. And then because we wanted bounties, they've given us bounties, but now they're taking bounties away, but not kind of giving us the full information. And again, this came out in a tweet from the Bungie 2 teams after the TWAB had released. So it's kind of a bit of information here, a bit of information there.
A bit of information everywhere. And that's why we go hunting with it.
To it, Peroty.
We go hunting for it because you never know where they're going to tell us things or if they're going to tell us things. I'm pretty sure that Bright Dust information is right below that document the Nitedemon has about the future of PvP. I'm pretty sure it's the next couple of lines down there. They detail their Bright Dust plans.
But
I told you already, dude. You can buy Bright Dust with silver,
but not gold.
Gold.
Is there anything that Respawn could tell us in his Respawn's report roundup that might alleviate the situation or not?
No, there's nothing that'll alleviate that situation. But
damn it.
What I can tell you is that my phone is in my pocket and I have to pull it out to then open up the...
Well, I can't put the elevator music in because we've just had the other music for the Respawn's report roundup. So it looks strange if I put the news.
It's already here.
No, but then I'm kind of delaying for you.
Oh, no, I'm here and you're still talking. That's what I'm trying to say.
Well, hurry up then.
With the release of PvP Map Pack, we want to give everybody the opportunity to experience the new maps going into the weekend. As such, the new territory playlist will hold its place as a 3v3 event node, and Trials of Osiris will not be active this weekend. Now, Trials of Osiris will return next week and feature each of the new maps in the last 3 weeks of the season, starting with the Eventide Labs. Take this time to learn the maps and prepare for Trials next weekend. All right. Destiny 2 team also says, how is everyone feeling about the Pantheon so far? We're keeping an eye on the feedback and want to hear your thoughts. How is the difficulty? Are the encounter tweaks enjoyable? Oh, excuse me.
Yes, they are.
How do you feel about... No. Flame tornadoes are not fun. If you're holding gaze, invisible minotaurs are not fun.
It's fine to add new mechanics.
Or flame tornadoes is what I think the people want.
Yes, more flame tornadoes.
I didn't say it wasn't good to add more mechanics. The question says, are the encounter tweaks enjoyable?
Yes.
The answer to that is no. And how do you feel about the scoring and time bonus? I think, honestly, the Caretaker one should be a little more user-friendly, meaning only like some of the advanced raid teams can skip the second phase, because A, they know how to do it, first of all, and then B, having the DPS teams to be able to do it, right? I think that's a little difficult for a lot of the players, and I've gone through some Pantheon runs where they'll get the time for every encounter except the Caretaker. And I understand why, because it's hard to meet that threshold sometimes, especially if you're, not used to raiding. So I think that one encounter can be a little more lenient on the time, but everything else is fine. We're investigating reports that Wave 20 portal in Onslaught is not spawning for players. More information will be provided when available. That's kind of a big deal, I guess. Update. After investigation, we have determined that the issue was only affecting the Midtown map. That sucks. To alleviate this issue, we'll be turning off this map in Onslaught momentarily until a fix can be deployed. We are currently targeting next Tuesday with a fix. And last, and probably least, with today's release of Update 7364, checkpoints in the Pantheon have been restored. Yay! For the Caretaker and Zorark Explicator of Planets. Please report any further issues to our help forum.
Yay!
Huzzah!
Ooh. And guess what?
Yeah.
Guess what time it is now? It's time for the 3-minute rundown of what's happening next week.
Yay!
Huzzah!
This is your weekly rundown of Season 23, Week 25, Season of the Wish. This week sees Destiny 2 reintroduce the fan-favourite exotic mission 0 Hour, with the craftable version of the exotic pulse rifle for the Outbreak perfected. Visit Ada 1 in the Tower Annex to pick up the starter quest. Continuing this week until the end of the season will be the new Crucible map playlist, New Territory. Week 3's Pantheon bosses are Golgoroth, Caretaker, Zorak, Atrax 1, Oryx, and Rogue. Also continuing this week we have the Horde game mode Onslaught, where 3 Guardians defend the last city from increasingly difficult waves of the Witness's forces. Don't forget that weapons from the Brave Arsenal are up for grabs in this game mode, with some very spicy rolls and shiny ornaments. For our Legacy votation, the Dreaming City this week is at a strong curse level. Petrovenge can be found in Ria Silvia with the Dark Monastery mission. The Blindwell features Taken Enemies and the Plague Ina Mina. The Ascendant challenge this week will be the Keep of Owned Edges over in the Harbinger's Seclude. On the Moon, the weekly story mission is in the Deep. The Drove Guardian is located in the Hellmouth, while the Wandering Nightmare is the Nightmare of Hawkis in the Anchor of Light. Nightmare hunts Fogoth, Fear, Ghoul, Rage, and Tanix Isolation. On Europa this week, Praxis the Technocrat will be the Empire Hunt, Cadmus Ridge will be the Eclipse Zone, and the Exo Challenge will be Safeguard. Days of Eternity legendary rounds are Hive, Vex, and Valister Arc. The Scatterhorn armor set and the Pathfinder armor set will be available in Days of Eternity with weapon set 4. The Witch Queen weekly story mission is the Communion, Altar of Reflections Catalyst, and Altar of Reflections Insight. The Lightfall weekly mission is No Time Left, the Partition mission will be Hard Reset, and the Vex incursion will be Liming Harbour. The Korota's End raid challenge this week is the 3rd encounter, Euyut the Death Singer, called Equal Vessels. The Root of Nightmares raid challenge this week is the 4th encounter, Nezarec, called All Hands. The Kingsfall raid challenge this week is the 2nd encounter, War Priest, called Devious Thievery. The Vow the Disciple challenge this week is the 1st encounter, Acquisition, called Swift Destruction. The Deepstone Crypt challenge this week is the 3rd encounter, Tanix Part 1, called Of All Trades. The Garden of Salvation challenge this week is the 3rd encounter, Consecrated Mind, called Staying Alive. And the Last Wish challenge this week is the 2nd encounter, Shiro-Chi, called Witch Witch. Your pinnacle raid will be the Vault of Glass over in the Legends tab, with all challenges available for each encounter, with the exotic fusion rifle Vex Mythoclast being farmable from the final boss. The pinnacle dungeon will be the Shattered Throne over on the Dreaming City, and the exotic mission rotator will be Operation Seraph's Shield, with the Revision 0 exotic pulse rifle being the main reward. The Season of the Ceres weapon set, and Ikelos weapon set, with the Warmind's Avatar armor set. Lost Sectors Tuesday Perdition on Europa for exotic chests, Wednesday Bunker E15 on Europa for exotic helmets, Thursday Concealed Void on Europa for exotic boots, Friday Thriller Dome on Neptune for exotic gauntlets, Saturday Gilded Precept on Neptune for exotic chests, Sunday Scavenger's Den on the EDZ for exotic helmets, and Monday Skydot 4 on the EDZ for exotic boots. Also, this week's weapon rotation will start on set 1 on Tuesday's reset. Our 25th featured Nightfall was successful against Ulnath the Light Cleanser in the Psyops Spotogan's Cosmodrome, with the Slammer Sword being the featured weapon. The 6v6 playlist will be Sparrow Control, Rift in the Party Relentless playlist, New Territory Game Rotation in the 3v3 playlist, Hardware Supremacy in Crucible Labs, and Trials of Osiris at the weekend, with the Messenger Pulse Rifle being the featured weapon for the final time this season. Plus, this week we'll see bonus Vanguard ranks and Nightfall rewards available all week long. Also, don't forget to start collecting all your Season of the Wish pass items, any Into the Light items from the Hall of Champions stacks in our site 9940, any items from the Helm vendors, plus your reward track items and engrams from Banshee 44, Gunsmith, Shax, Crucible, Zavala, Vanguard, Drifter, Gambit, and Saint 14 Trials. Grab these before the end of the season as they will reset and you will lose all items when the final shape begins. Plus, don't forget your free pile of 700 Bright Dust from the Eververse store. And that's it for the 25th week of Season of the Wish.
And now we know what's happening next week.
We do.
And now it's time for someone to have watched some YouTube videos, because they're there. They're out there. People are certainly making them. Yeah. I don't know what they're saying. She's forever telling us things.
Yeah.
But yeah. So what have you,
Matrix has some builds. TDT has a thing.
Yes.
Checks out.
As you're talking about TDT, can I jump in and talk to you about the Secret Synergy video that he's put together this week?
Yeah.
Very
That's what
funny.
I was gonna talk about.
Very funny. The Hunter build with the Tikus is really cool. I really want to kind of go and use it. The Warlock build, very good. Titan one, I'm not so sure about. Because
the Warlock build has been around for a while, I think.
I know.
I mean, the way he describes it is funny.
Yes. So go and check that video out, because TQ's one is new. But yeah, that was They are very good builds that either they've put together or the community have put together.
They're stupid builds, sir.
Stupid builds. Okay, sorry.
Or silly? Silly or stupid? I
brand.
can't remember what he said.
Fallout Plays has got his Pantheon Week 2 guide, Easy Platinum. So if you're kind of doing that, and it is a selectable node, which means you can go back and play Week 1 if you want to any week, and then kind of catch up and do Week 2, and then Week 3 and Week 4, whenever they kind of pop up. And then I said to you about the maps that True Vanguard's put out there, and I will include the third one if he drops it before the show goes live or before the show gets released on Monday. And then Cheese Forever, his insane 400 exploits for the materials and cosmetics you can kind of do now as a free-to-play player. Over to you, Respawn.
Matrix put out a video. I had a build a long time ago using the proximity knife. I called it like the nuclear exploding knife of doom build. He calls it something similar, but probably a better name. And it just shows you how to turn your proximity knife into an AoE room clearing monster. For a while, because of some of the nerfs that we've had to some of our exotics and this and that and the other, that build became less viable over time. But he shows you a new way to get the same result using different things, right? So give that a shot. And now, back when I was using that build, your proximity knife could also take you
Very possibly.
anymore. So
I'm guessing you said it could take you out.
Oh. Yeah. I said back when it was first out. I said back when it first came out, the proximity knife explosion would also take you out. But now, since it can't do that anymore, I heavily recommend giving this a shot because it's very fun to throw one proximity knife, it take out a room, and you have the knife back on kill. Kind of awesome.
Cool. Is that it from you?
Yeah, it's just the one. I haven't had a lot of time this week. I've been working at nights and doing shenanigans.
Fair enough. Peroty, I can see that you've got a couple of videos in there.
I'm obligated, contractually to provide links to It's Tizzle this week, who's put out not one but two videos. The first, destroying Legend Onslaught with the Sweet Business, as you do, and destroying the Corrupted GM with the Actium War Rig, and of course its friend, the Sweet Business. Which I haven't watched much this week, but when those come up, I mean, why would I not? It's just pure delight.
Yeah.
And hearing chain guns going off and everything being murdered.
Cool. So I think that's it. That's the end of our quick show, our short show this week. Thank you very much for kind of anybody that's kind of tuned in this week to listen to us ramble. And everybody that's kind of subbed to us on YouTube and anybody that hasn't subbed to us on YouTube, thank you for kind of the sub that you're going to give us. Because it's really helping and getting us out there. So much appreciated. Much like our Patreons, because they are also loved.
They're also beloved and also helping, like Zep Orbit and Calvin Burns, who can't be threatened with a good time. T-Rex King, Scarlet KM, Mel O'Malley, Dedicated M64, and Renard Calant, our incredible Otter Dance Troupe. The Grenades, Shax is a busy man, but no one's busier. And Carter 2782, Golden God 1562, Noble, Basically Salt, Fire Squad 1688, and Coderson 105, throwing all of those grenades to help the dancing and to help the Day 1 raid team of Dimwee, Gravy Jeff, and PP Pipe. The Deacon, again, hard at work training these three into the most feared fighting force ever assembled to go after the Witness. And thank you to all of our lovely patrons who've gone to patreon.com/TTAH and said, we appreciate what you do, and we appreciate you appreciating us. And I appreciating that now it's time to say thank you for joining us. And Respawn will be boarding his flight, hopping on the plane, and flying off somewhere into the sunset. 19 will be running off into the forest to go bring his computer into the computer people to say, hey, computer, it needs a computer better. And I am here, half awake, telling you all the good things until next week. Where we are on YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, as Two Titans and a Hunter. You know where to find us. If you've got thoughts, email the show, twotitansandahunter@hotmail.com. You can find this show wherever you find your podcast. And as the nice British man said, go to YouTube, follow us there. Weekly update videos, short ones, long ones, live streams, entire episodes of this show. Basically, if you just want to live the Two Titan and a Hunter experience through YouTube, you can do that. Or go to twotitansandahunter.com and you can find all of the show notes. Every video we talk about, every build we talk about, every link we point to, anytime we mention a cool or interesting site, it's all there. And if you have been playing all of this lovely content that you've gotten for free, or if you're saying, hey, go grab this game, grab this stuff, we're going to speedrun you through all these campaigns, there's a link at the top of our page to a lovely Google Doc that tells you how to get through all of these campaigns, how to get through Witch Queen, how to get through Lightfall. All of the stuff is there for you. So come to us, we'll help you, you'll help your friends, everybody will have a good time. And yeah, if you want to join the Auto Dance Troop, threaten us with a good time, throw more grenades, join our Patreon, patreon.com/TTH. If you're looking for more casual encounter, coffee.com/2titansandahunter. And if you want this show live, uncut, and who knows what tangents it's going to take, twitch.tv/no one responds to real life. And if you want to see a lovely British man stream lovely British things, twitch.tv/2titansandahunter. But really, you should go to both those places, hit the bell, subscribe, and then you'll know when they go live, and you'll know what they're up to, and what kind of shenanigans are going to first shenan and then shenan again. And with that, goodbye, gents, and we'll do this again next week.
Bye.
Two Titans and a Hunter, a Destiny 2 podcast.
I gotta pack up the Jeep so I can drive home, not fly home. So
No, in the minds of the people you're flying. The minds of the people you're in an airport flying somewhere. That's how they picture you.
Fly.
Gotta keep the lore alive.